So this is Operation Paris, month October, and my eyes hurt. I'm gonna do this video a bit differently to how I've done the previous videos for two reasons. First off, I've did the video the same way I did September, but September was only for really like 2 weeks, whilst this one is a whole 4 weeks. And the content that I had to give was about an hour and maybe 30 minutes long. I condensed a bit of it down. Once I realized it was getting beyond an hour, I was like, okay, we've done enough. Let's just see if we can figure out how to make this shorter. And then I did that poll. If you saw it, I asked you guys, I think a week ago, and I asked how long you guys wanted these videos to be. The answer with the highest vote was less than 30 minutes. And I won't lie, I really did make that poll. Kind of rushed. I was in a lecture and I didn't do it as well as I could have. So I'm gonna assume anyone that said 30 minutes or less, that said less than 30 minutes meant 30 minutes or less. So I'm gonna try and keep these videos at most 30 minutes or no longer than that. But now let's actually get into what we need to talk about for this month. So first off, let's start with the gym training. So my weight during September was anywhere between 75 and 80 kg. We jumped up to 80 kgs, you guys remember, and I started off October, with that same weight, 80 kg. I continued doing the work I was doing. Started to move up the weight. Nothing really too interesting happened. That was the first 2 weeks whilst I was at the gym. But what happened after that was it was time for me to switch to my new program, which I was supposed to have done the old one for 2 more weeks, but I started to realize I was feeling a lot of knee pain. Not so much a lot of knee pain, but I could feel a lot of stress on my knee, which I was worried might turn into knee pain. And because last year I had a slight problem with my meniscus in my left leg, I think it was. And I saw how much my energy was sapped and how it ruined my form. I didn't want to have to worry about that again, especially if I could avoid it. So I pushed the second training block forwards by a bit. There was a few exercises that was affecting my knee. The biggest one being the Bulgarian split squats, because I wasn't able to get into a full range of motion. But with the squats that I have now, there's less pressure on my knee, and I actually enjoy going into a full squat. My knee actually likes the mobility is able to explore. For this training plan, that was really it. That was really the only thing that actually changed, was I moved from doing unilateral work to bilateral work. So the Bulgarian split squats, for example, were flipped out with back squats. The unilateral hip thrusts were replaced with hip thrusts. The only thing that was unilateral before that stayed unilateral was the reverse squats, purely because we need to build a lot of strength. I want to be able to move the entire stack on the cable machine for reps, and the entire stack is 52.5, but you can slap on these tiny 2.5 plates. So 55 kg, I want to be able to move 55 kg with just one leg. So I believe if I was able to do that, that would make me quite strong. Other than that, that was really all that changed. But the week I was supposed to do that was actually going to be my deload week. This was week 5. Roughly found, some of these exercises I was doing before, so I already knew what weights I would be using for my deload, but I roughly found what weights I needed for the exercise I didn't know, like the back squat. I haven't back squatted in months, so I didn't know, or even done reps of 5s for back squats even longer. So I didn't know what weight I needed to be using to do them. So I thought to myself, how does a deload work? Deload works by you moving at most half of the weight you normally would for the same amount of work. I mean, there's different ways to deload, but for me, it's the same reps, the same sets, but half the weight, max. And considering the fact that it's max, not half the weight, it didn't really matter too much. So there was some of these exercises that probably were done a bit too easy, you could say, but it was a deload, so it didn't really matter. Around this period, I was actually starting to have problems with track. Reason being is it's October. I just ended my last season. I didn't end it the way I wanted to. And I was thinking, am I really going to be able to achieve what I want to achieve in this season? I have some big goals. I'm going to be able to pull them off. Will I be able to do it? All these questions came in my head, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it. And the real reason why is because I wasn't sure if when I opened my season, I would be able to beat the times that I ended my last season with. And if I did beat them, would I just repeat the exact same thing that happened last season, where I'm happy that I PB'd, but I didn't PB as much as I did want to. And if I was to repeat last season, like just the bare numbers, I would be very happy, because if I was able to remove more than a second from my 100 meter time again, I mean, what reason would I have to be upset? Kind of seem sort of like a first world problem, a first world country problem or a rich person problem where it's like, oh, I wish I managed to make £500 in the last hour instead of the £450 that I made. Yeah. But I quickly realized that was just stupid. I don't know what was going through my head, and I just got back to the grind. And another thing that actually helped me focus less on whether I was going to succeed or not, and more on just trying to succeed was, at the end of the day, when August rolls around next year, regardless of what time I run, I'm going to do this again next year. So what's the point of stressing? And slap on the fact that my form was improving, there wasn't much reason for me to be worrying, because my form wasn't really improving much around this time. So the fact that it was already improving, especially in my weakest area, my starts, I was very happy about. I think I'm actually going to leave the recordings that I made for a lot of my sprint sessions after my sprint sessions in. They are a bit black, so unfortunate. That's quite unfortunate, but I'm going to leave a lot of those in so you can just get it from me how I was feeling it when I was feeling it. Okay, another very dark video. So done with my training. So because my calves, specifically I'm pretty sure it's my tibialis that hurts, the actual bone, because of over too much loading on plyometrics. I wasn't able to train properly today, so I want to have another training session on Saturday. My coach told me to take it light, and I didn't, but to me I did. And I just did a few starts working on my technique, as you've seen, and the last one I did for the first few steps is really good. The reason being is I was landing how I'm supposed to land, which means I fixed the problem that I had last week where I wasn't able to land properly. That's gone now. The next problem is a problem that I've always had that I need to fix, and that's the fact that I'm crunched like this, or like that, if you can kind of see my hands, because I'm supposed to be at a 45-degree angle the entirety of my body, but my legs are getting that 45-degree angle, and then my upper body is just rounded. So my coach told me that I need to work on getting that position correct, and he told me the only way to do that is to push. He's saying I'm still pulling back when I need to be pushing behind me. And once I figure out how to push behind me properly, I'll get the triple extension completely down, and my upper, not my upper body, yeah, my upper body, and my upper body will just follow the rest of that. In the first video I showed, my leg was landing incorrectly, but there was a lot of push. If I can get that same amount of push, but on a start where I'm actually able to land properly, my upper body should fix itself, and I'll actually be able to have an acceleration and a drive phase that looks like one, instead of it just being my legs doing it and me pretending I'm in one. So I just finished my training session and I finally figured out how to push. I'm still need to learn. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done, but I finally figured out how to push. What usually happens is when I sprint, I compare myself to elite sprinters, because there's such a big gap. It's easy to see when there's a big problem. And and when I'm sprinting out of the blocks, my legs are like this, but when they sprint, they're like bent. Their knees are lower down, and it allows them to drive forwards better. Compared, is this gate locked? Okay, give me a sec. Compared to me, where I'm literally just upright. And obviously that's something I wanted to fix, because I want to be at that elite level. I need to know how they do that, and I need to do it. And I figured out it's because I wasn't using my glutes out of the blocks on every single step. I still don't have it down completely, but at the very least I'm able to do it for the first 2 steps, and we're gonna work on being able to do that for more steps again and again and again and again, until I don't need to do it anymore because I'm upright and I just sprint. And I think that's what be the difference between me running an 11-second time and a sub 11-second time. It's just that one thing. Even just for 2 steps, 2 steps would probably be enough for me to break 11. So technically I can break 11 right now, Though that's probably optimistic because, I mean, who knows if I can break 11 right now. But the improvement in the form is really great. My coach giving me a lot of stuff. I don't know what would have happened if I decided not to come today. Because all I know is I wouldn't know what would have happened. I'd be upset. But I'm glad I did. And he gave me some stuff to do and I'm going to work. He told me not to do any sprinting until he sees me again on Tuesday to continue what we've been doing. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Right now I am starving because usually I go training after dinner where I've had 2 chicken breasts or 3 compared to now where I've only had 6 eggs only. So I'm probably gonna go to McDonald's, not gonna lie, and eat. Hungry. Hi, it's Editor Jevon again. So I forgot to add this in. So remember how I talked about me getting new shoes, these, which I'm gonna go into detail for because like I said before, or I'm not sure if I've said it yet, I might not have said it yet. I'm going to be making a video. Oh, have you even seen those shoes yet? Well, if you haven't seen those shoes, then yes, I have new shoes. So just act surprised when I talk about it later if I haven't already talked about it. But along with that, we also, if you're paying attention, I got new shoes in the gym as well. These were my old shoes. I'm not going to go into detail. I think I actually detail the difference between these shoes in the video I'm going to upload. I'm going to chain after this one. But I got new shoes and they were very helpful. Okay, I'm back from training and parcel of shoes. My first time looking at it, that was a garbage unboxing, I won't lie. I'll apologize for that, but damn. I guess I'm just showing you guys me staring at the shoe. Notice the heel height. This is my old shoe. Look at the heel compared to the heel on this. It's clearly different, and if I make them flat in my hands, you should be able to see. Okay, maybe it's because this front shoe's in front, but this shoe, this part of it is slightly higher than this shoe. So this part is slightly raised because the heel's a bit higher. But what's really important isn't so much the back heel, because there is a difference, but it's slight. What's really important is the front, because if you look at the front, you can see here that it's basically flat here, whilst for the powerlifting shoes, there's a complete heel and it just slightly extends along the back. The reason why this is because the removal of this heel in this shoe allows you to put all of your force on, or put the entirety of your body weight onto your balls of your feet, but do it so it's stable and you're close to the ground as possible, so you're as stable as you possibly can, so you can do the movement properly. So you should expect a PB in these shoes fairly soon, I'd say. Deload was done and it was time for the actual work, which was this week, believe it or not. This is the only week where I was able to go all out with the weights, and I did it. It was quite the week was quite easy, but my body didn't feel right. I feel like there's like a knot in my chest. I feel like there's something wrong with my heart, not so much in like a cardiovascular problem, but more so in a muscular strength problem, because I haven't really been training cardio as much as I could be, which I'm gonna get into later on. I kind of affected my training, and along with the fact that I had been having soleus problems, which again I'm gonna get into later on, I was very careful of how I was training in the gym. But beyond that, let's look at some of the important numbers that we've improved, that we actually care about, which is, let's start with the snatch. So during this period, I'm pretty sure anyway, I decreased how much I was snatching for a certain amount of time. I decreased it to focus on my form. So we're looking at 30 kg at some points, and I moved it back up to 40 kg recently. And in this latest week, I was up at 44 kg, which if you compare to how much I was doing before, is roughly in line with what I was doing before I decided to focus. In fact, it's slightly above what I was doing before when I decided to focus on trying to improve my technique, which is great because now we can actually focus on getting the strength in my snatch. My form obviously still needs a lot of work. There's no, because it took, I think I was focusing on my technique in the snatch for 2 weeks, 2 days a week. So there's only so much you can get done in 4 days, but the fact that we improved is quite good, and I'm happy to start trying to move up the weight. Along with that, we're currently at 44 kg for the snatch, which isn't a lot of weight and it's not my max for the snatch, but for 5 reps that's quite good considering my max for the snatch is 65 kg. Technically wasn't the best, so I'd probably just say I can do 60. So the fact I'm that close to my max, I'm happy with. The other thing we want to look at is the clean and jerk. So I'm currently cleaning and jerking 70 kg for 5 reps compared to September when I was doing, by the end of it, 62 kg, and at the start we was only doing 60. Not a big jump between weeks 1 and 2 obviously, but the fact that we're on 70 kg is quite good considering my PB in the snatch, the clean and jerk used to be 80 kg, and I'm actually able to do 70 kg slightly uncomfortably. It's not as comfortable as 60 kg would be naturally, but it's quite comfortable. And I actually recently improved my clean and jerk numbers from 80 kg. I finally broke my curse of 80 kg to 90 kg, which I'm fairly certain you're probably going to see around now. You're going to see that right around now. I don't know when, but right around now you're going to see it on the screen. Like, along with that, on Friday I didn't go to the gym, which was yesterday, purely because my body doesn't feel good. The cardio thing just shows it again in more detail later, which I still will. And problems with my soleus, I'm still trying to figure out what exactly I need to do or not do to fix this. At one point I thought it might have been the plyometrics I was doing, so there was a period where, I'll just save that for the plyometrics part, but I wasn't sure if it was plyometrics or if it was the gym training when I was doing calf raises, or if it was actually sprinting, or maybe it might have just been a lack of mobility, because my coach told me that it might be that my hamstring was too tight and it was pulling on my calves, or my calf was too tight putting on my soleus, which is causing this pain. So once we identify whatever the problem is and fix it, we can move on. So I didn't go to gym on Friday, and I'm gonna use today, Saturday and Sunday to just regroup and figure out what I need to add or remove from my training plan moving forwards. But I'm considering for the next 2 weeks in November, I'm going to just focus on stretching, and beyond that we'll just leave everything else the same and see how that works. Next is plyometrics. So my training block for the plyometrics has switched. We're now on months 2 to 3. It was supposed to be done Monday, Wednesday and Friday, but I for some reason didn't realize that sprinting is also plyometrics. I knew this, but I didn't realize completely. So I'll be doing plyometrics Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in an intense fashion, unilaterally with weights. And I'll be going to track to do plyometrics again with my coach for warm-up, as well as sprint, another plyometric movement. So I was basically getting no rest, when for plyometrics you're supposed to be getting 48 to 72 hours of rest between each block. I don't know what I was doing, but I think that might have been why I was feeling soleus pain, because of the fact that my soleus wasn't getting any time off. I've recently switched from Monday, Wednesday, Friday to Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I didn't do any plyometrics today purely because of my soleus pain. I'm trying to just stop anything I can not do and try and figure out why this is happening. Originally for plyometrics, there was I think it was 2 weeks where I just did body weight, because it's already unilateral, so it's already intense, just body weight alone. So I was of the mindset that the body weight training would be enough for me to be able to stress in my body, which it is. But I was still feeling the pain even after 2 weeks, and the pain decreased from the plyometric side. So I was thinking the plyos might not be the problem, might be something else. But I continued doing the plyometrics 3 days a week, and we've got broad jumps, step jumps, backward jumps, pogos, squat jumps, box jumps, and sideways jumps spread out throughout all three of the days, which I did with 20 kg weight. I dropped it down from 24 because I scaled up to 24, and that's when I'd say the problem of the soleus started to happen. It might have just been accumulation, and that was the tipping point. but I'm gonna stick with 20 kg. I might even end up dropping it down to 10 kg. I don't need to load my legs too much because 20 kg means I'm already lifting 100 kg with every single step I take. And that's just one leg, not two. So there's no need to go beyond there, especially my tendons enough. And tendons take a lot of time to feel adaptation, so there's no need to push beyond where I am, and I can just continue to go at the rate I have. Next thing is spikes. I'm not gonna show them for too long. So I wore them to track with my other shoes. I got 3 different spikes now. I got these ones, the ones that I wore from last season and the ones that I wore in 2021, and I compared these spikes, the old spikes, 2021 spikes, and then my normal flats, just to see the quality, the responsiveness on the track. And I plan to make a video on how I found all of that at some point soon, so you can stay tuned for that. The next thing I want to talk about is my heart, my cardiovascular system, all of that. So my cardio is, I'd say it's all right, but it's not the best it's ever been. The reason being is because I haven't been doing this. So in September, you probably watched that video where you wouldn't be watching this. You saw, if you watched all of it anyway, that I was boxing. That was the only day I boxed, the only day. Reason being is I started to fall slightly behind on my studies, and I told myself I'm not gonna allow myself to box until I catch back up. Because the best time for me to catch up is on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Wednesdays don't have anything after 1 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays, I'm free for the entire day. And funnily enough, those are the exact days and times that I actually boxed with. So it was a no-brainer that I couldn't do these until I caught up with my work, which, believe it or not, I'm actually doing right now. Before I started making this video, I was actually trying to catch up with my work. I'm taking a break, which is why I'm doing this now. I forgot to say this. So when I box, I'm supposed to do 5 3-minute rounds with 1-minute rests in between each round. After that, I'm supposed to do 100 burpees. I said something stupid in this space, which is why I'm filling it with what I'm saying now. But what I'm planning to do moving forward is do that every single day, because I do have time to do that every single day. Second I get to the boxing bag to actually do that, that will take no longer than 30 minutes. So it won't be difficult for me to do every single day. And that was what was going to get my heart in the best possible shape as fast as possible. And the reason why I picked boxing over any other sport or any other thing I could have done, because I could have just ran, was boxing will allow me to work on the speed of my hands. In boxing, there's a whole saying where fast feet give you fast arms, which gives you fast feet. And that also applies to sprinting. So if you can find a sport that's just as similar and do that, that would be great. And it also kind of mimics how your arm mechanics are supposed. I made a video actually talking about boxing ages ago, which, if I can remember, I'll put in the cards if I can anyway, to watch it. It was, I won't lie, it's a bit of a dry video, but I've made a video explaining why I picked up boxing, because obviously you learn to fight, but it's great for your arms, and it's great for the speed of your arms, because you get to train relaxation in your arms, and being able to relax in your arms is very important, because if you try to move your arms as fast as possible, with them relaxed, they're going to move a lot faster than if you try the exact same thing but with your arms tense. Even if you're forcefully trying to move your arms fast, it's just not going to work. And because I haven't been able to box, my cardio hasn't been as well, and I feel this kind of lump, I guess. It's not really a lump, but I just feel uncomfortable in my own body. I'm probably a bit fat. I mean, this is another one of those problems where you're fat, but I feel fatter than I actually am, because I haven't been boxing in a while. I was struggling to explain what I meant here, but what I was actually trying to say is not that I felt uncomfortable and I felt fat or anything. I don't know what I was going there. I felt sluggish, and I didn't like that, because I know I could have felt faster and more freer, but I felt chained and sluggish and slow. So I wanted to deal with that, and I knew, and I was correct in this thought, that the only way I could get over this was by boxing, which I did, and the problem went away. But once I catch up with my work, I'm gonna get back into that, and I'm gonna be doing as well as I possibly can. Next, let's get on to the sprint training. So I'm pretty sure I've already shown what I was doing throughout the entire month, but I'm just gonna talk about what I was actually doing. So it was a lot of endurance work, speed endurance work. So he was looking at 150s, 100s, more hundreds. Most of it was just low intensity, but on Saturdays, I spoke with my coach and I told him that I wanted to come on Saturdays and just do sleds. So he was like, yeah, sure, let's do that. And I did quite a bit of sleds. The way we did it was we did heavy sleds, trying to get my technique down on how to land underneath me at the start. Hey guys, this is Jevon back again. So I wanted to interrupt the video right this second to plug 2 things, my Instagram and my Patreon. First off, my Instagram. The reason why Instagram is important is because everything, mainly anyway, you see here, you can get on my Instagram and you can get that early. So make sure to follow me on Instagram so you can see everything I have there. I have a bunch of reels. The main ones being my season training in the gym, on the track, my competitions, my block starts, and I've also added in plyometrics, mainly just how I'm measuring my plyometrics, so that's also there too. So everything you see here right now that you get late, because you have to wait a whole month, maybe sometimes even more, like for this video, before you can see it, you can get that roughly when it happens, same week that it occurs, on my Instagram. So you can check that out to see what I'm actually doing. Along with that, my Patreon, check that out because you can see a bunch of different blog posts. The cheapest membership is £3. I believe it's to see the sprint blog posts and that alone, but there's sprint blog posts, plyometrics, and gym training. And if people join the lower ones, I'm also going to be training people in how to improve their technique, one-on-one coaching, stuff like that. Because a lot of people pop up to me on Instagram saying, could you give me your training plan, which is on my Patreon? Could you teach me how to improve my blog starts or something? And I can give you general advice, but I can't go into a lot of detail and actually tell you how to do it unless you're on my Patreon. So if you want more help, faster and better from me, my Patreon's the place to go. And trust me, those blog posts are really, really good. And once we got that, we just decreased the weight on the sled gradually until I didn't need the sleds anymore, which I'm not sure if I don't need the sleds anymore. Compared to before, I'm in a better position, obviously, but I'm not sure if I don't need the sleds anymore, but I'm in a better position than I was before we started doing that, and it happened quite quickly. It gave me a lot of stuff to work on, and I've been doing them since, and it's done me quite well. On Thursday, when I was trying out these spikes, we was doing something I actually forgot to write down. We was doing 80-meter sprints, and originally my form was a bit iffy, but as every single rep I'd go, I'd speak to my coach. He'd tell me what I was doing wrong. I'd do that, try and do that right the next rep, and by the end of it, he gave me a nice clap to tell me I did it right. The thing we were mainly focusing on was actually at the start, there was miscommunication. I was thinking that my start was quite bad. He didn't believe that. The only problem I had was that my back leg wasn't coming high enough off the ground to land for the first step, so I was just dropping on the floor instead of hitting the floor. I fixed that, and then I was still of the belief that my start was just bad. So if I messed up the first step, then the rest of the steps can't be that bad. He told me they were fine, but he really was focusing on was the drive phase, because he told me my steps were quite really fast. There's a high frequency, but there's not so much stride length. So I tried to focus on the stride length, which I got. But then he told me that the start is fine. Once you're upright, it's fine. But the middle needs work because you're just landing on the floor and your stride length isn't wide. He told me that, and obviously it's my drive phase. My drive phase has never been the best. But I actually got it down, he told me. On the last rep, the 6th rep I did it, I was open, and I started to speed up. I was coming up right, the way I was supposed to, everything was good. And he just told me, yeah, he collapsed. Then I wanted to do it again just to make sure it was down, but he told me no. He told me I couldn't do that. So you have it, stick with it, don't overdo it. That was it. We were supposed to have done 2 sets of 5 times 80s, but I was just trying to focus on my technique. It was a max effort, by the way. I was just trying to focus on my technique. Minus 6th rep, you already told me that, and I was just going to continue doing the work, but he said no. It's like, okay, then that's that. And I was happy with that. And that's literally Thursday that has just gone by. That's how it's gone. And that's most of the update for October. The other thing that we need to talk about is the gym progress. Every month I have it so that there's a goal that I need to hit. Last month, in the gym anyway, it was achieving my old PBs. This month, it was to reverse squat 50 kg unilaterally for 1 rep, and it was to deadlift 210 kg. I was originally going to do those today, but as I was doing the deadlift, I was working my way up to the max weight. I got to 140, and I could feel it. My body it was in the morning, so my body was just tired, it wasn't prepared. as well as the fact that if I was to try and do this, I could feel that the deload week that I had before would be ruined, and I'd have to push the next deload further forwards. So I decided, rationally for once, that instead of just trying to satisfy not just my ego, because yeah, my ego would have been satisfied, but just to do what I said I wanted to do, now I just stop and push it back. So this isn't so much a failure to hit 210 kg as it is more me understanding that I could hit 210, but if I hit 210, I might have to deload earlier, which might ruin everything else. So what I've decided to do is the reverse squat, 50 kg. I don't have to do that. That's basically done. Reason being is right now I'm reverse squatting for 5 reps, 4 sets. I believe it's like 42.5 kg. And considering the fact I'm going to do 42.5 kg, and next week it's going to be 45, I'm fairly certain I can do 50 kg naturally, but I'm still going to just push that back. I'm going to push that back by 1 month, November, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to increase the amount to 42.5 kg instead, which is the entire stack. I'm going to be able to do that for 1 rep. Along with that, I'm going to move the deadlift back 1 month again, and I'm going to slap on an extra 10 kg. And that's the goal. So November, there's going to be 5 things that I need to have achieved, hopefully. And the goals from October will be what I need to achieve as well, but they've been increased sort of to be able to accommodate for November. Along with that, I've also tested out my plyometric jumps to see how well I could do them. I did broad jump and unilateral broad jumps to see where I am, and at the end of November we're also going to test those to see how far they've improved. There's not so much a goal for where I want to be getting each month. There's just an end goal, which is to be able to broad jump 3 meters and unilaterally broad jump, I think is 2.5, I believe it's 2.5, 2.6, 2.7, roughly around there. And last October wrapped up like a bun.